Goeiemorgen, good morning and welcome. In America, I take part in a medieval reenactment group called the SCA, the Society for Creative Anachronism. A large gathering by this group is called a war, and in November I attend the Great Western War in California. Each of the households in the group that I camp with takes a turn cooking dinner. And for my dinner this year, I decided to cook a South African feast. There were some restrictions. I wanted to be able to pre-cook as much as possible, since all the cooking happens on gas camp stoves. So I chose bobotie with rice, Boerewors rolls with smoor, and koeksisters for dessert. For a midnight feast, we would fry up some samosas. I will be sharing each of these recipes in individual videos. So please subscribe and let me know if you try any of them. I miss Boerewors. I miss being able to just pick up a packet at the store. I miss quickly grabbing a Boerewors roll at a festival or a sports event. It has long been on my list of things I want to try to reproduce. And this seems a good time to give it a try. First, I bought some sausage stuffing online. It would seem that they only come in amounts that can best be described as a lifetime supply. I read a whole lot of recipes online, and many of them seem to assume a level of competence that I don't have. It took me several tries to even just find one that specified what type of beef. Can you get away with some cheap stuff, or do you need to go way upscale? In the end, I went for beef chuck roast and for pork belly sliced, nice and fatty. The day before, I cut all the meat into chunks. Some people grind first and then mix. I just mixed everything together. I have heard horror stories of people burning out their expensive mixer grinding the meat. So I had a friend come help and teach. He made 2 suggestions. 1. Cut the meat smaller than most suggest. Something like 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter chunks. Number 2. Just before you grind, freeze the meat. Not so that it is totally frozen through, just a flash freeze so that it is really cold and stiff. Roast the coriander seeds, making sure not to burn them. Then grind the seeds. I use the combination of a mortar and pestle and an electric pepper mill. I like there still to be some chunks to the seeds, but I also want some of it very fine. Some would disagree. Some really don't like biting into a little chunk of coriander. It's a debate that happens with biltong as well, but I was cooking for myself, so I chose to make it the way I like it. Add all the spices and the vinegar and coat the meat chunks the best that you can. Then set it in the fridge overnight, or for at least an hour. The next day, and after a quick flash freeze, grind the marinated meat on the coarsest setting. Wash the salt off the sausage casing in cold water. Ease the first 5 centimeters of the casing over the stuffing tube, and then ease the rest of the casing onto the tube. This can be the most frustrating part of the whole operation. Keep trying different things. What worked for us in the end was to grip the casing just before the start of the tube and then ease it up onto the tube in sections. Some casings goes on easier than other. Sometimes the casing will be flowing and then just stop. But keep trying and keep trying different things. Now pipe the meat mixture into the casings. Here is where more than 2 hands really help. You need to hold and ease and still have hands to feed from the top too. Don't overfill. You don't want your sausage to burst. Boerewors is not divided into lengths. You can just cook the entire roll. Everyone has a different way of cooking boerewors. Obviously, the best way is part of a braai, but I went with the most basic method. I added a small bottle of water into the pan and then added the roll of sausage. Always start with some liquid, or your casing will burst and your sausage will dry out. I cooked till all the water was gone and then a little bit more to brown the sausage up nicely. Boerewors goes perfectly with smoor. Smoor translates into English as smother. At its most basic, it is just onions and tomatoes. Instead of cubing the onions, cut them into thin strips. So cut the onion in half and then cut against the grain so that each of the onion layers is a thin strip. Brown the onions. You can add spices, but I feel that this distracts from the sausage, so I literally just use onions and a can of tomatoes. If you use fresh tomatoes, it usually helps to cut the acidity with just a little bit of sugar. Put the length of sausage in a buttered roll and add some smoor on top. Enjoy! I thought we would have the leftovers for lunch the next day, but there were no leftovers. I did not even get a photo of the actual boerewors roll. I was serving food and answering questions. But for those wondering what it looks like, I am adding a video of a boerewors roll I had while in South Africa. I was told that this would be the perfect food for a food truck, and I had to laugh. South Africans have known this for generations. We make boerewors rolls all the time, everywhere.